Have you ever felt like the thoughts in your head aren't really yours?
We all want the same thing. We want to stay calm, we don't want to lose our temper easily, and we want to be the most level-headed person in any situation.
But the fact is, people, or even you yourself, often get nervous and lose control in certain situations.
But you don't want to go through all that. You just want to take it easy.
But it's as if your brain is out of your control and doesn't have your best interests at heart.
And eventually those feelings surface. Anxiety, nervousness, and all the other negative emotions. But what's unique is that there's another figure, Marcus Aurelius, who could remain calm even in a situation between life and death. It was as if he could trick his own brain into thinking nothing had happened.
Of course, his ability isn't something he was born with. He trained himself to reach that level.
I've learned how to do it and put it into practice in my daily life. And this knowledge is truly fascinating, valuable, and essential to learn because it can bring peace of mind in any situation.
And yeah, that's absolutely true, no matter what.
So, what exactly is this knowledge? How do you put it into practice? And how do you train yourself in it? Watch this video all the way through.
Think of your mind as a muscle. If you keep training it, it'll get stronger. But if you just let it sit idle, don't be surprised if it slowly gets weak.
Mental resilience and true inner peace are already within you. You just need to find the key to unlock them.
Before mastering other techniques, the fundamental principle you must fully understand is the dichotomy of control.
Some of you may already be familiar with this term, but please bear with me for a moment, because I'll explain it in more detail.
Simply put, the dichotomy of control is a practical way of thinking that has a tremendous impact on our mental health.
In this world, there are only two kinds of things. Those that are 100% under your control,
And those that are 100% beyond your control. Everything else is just an illusion.
Things that are beyond your control include traffic jams, the weather, what other people say, and even your partner's behavior.
And the things that are under your control include, for example, your thoughts or personal opinions, your goals, and your intentions.
and our response or reaction to an event, and the effort we put in.
And why do we need to understand these two things? Because all that stress and panic stem from one fatal mistake.
That is, you're wasting energy trying to control something that is clearly beyond your control.
The result is that you'll just end up exhausting yourself, and ironically, the situation won't change at all.
Through the dichotomy of control, you are no longer a slave to circumstances, but the sole ruler of your own mind.
That way, you'll know when to put your energy into taking action and when to just let things be.
And finally, you become mentally efficient.
So how do you put this into practice? By training your mind using these 2 steps.
Every time you feel anxious, angry, or have other negative feelings, first step you need to take is to identify.
Ask yourself, is the source of this problem within my control or beyond my control?
The second step is to shift your focus.
If the problem is beyond your control, for example, uncomfortable weather, like getting caught in a heavy downpour while traveling,
Accept the fact and ask yourself again.
Okay, so what can I do when it starts raining?
Well, the answer is that you could stop and take shelter to put on your raincoat if you have one, buy one if you don't have one, or you can brave the rain if conditions allow.
Well, if the answer is within your control, for example, if you panic when your task isn't finished, that's exactly where you need to focus 100% of your attention.
Just get right to work. Don't waste your energy panicking.
By doing this consistently, you're indirectly training your brain to focus on the things that can truly make a difference. Finally, you can truly take control of your mind and put the next technique into practice: the art of not giving a damn.
Actually, there are only two main reasons why you often feel panicked and anxious.
The first one is because your ego got bruised, which is why you get easily riled up and overreact at the slightest thing.
For example, when your boss reprimands you in a condescending tone in front of others, and you end up feeling offended. Well, that's because your ego is screaming, as if to say, "Damn it, I know I was wrong, but couldn't you have just not called me out in public?"
So why is that? Because our brain is trying to protect our self-esteem.
Because you feel that you're being judged in a way that doesn't match how you see yourself as someone worthy of respect.
Second, because you're afraid of looking like a failure. That's what makes you anxious, nervous, and afraid.
For example, you want to speak in public, but then you end up being scared out of your wits.
That's because your brain can't accept the idea of you looking like a failure, like being afraid of saying the wrong thing and looking stupid.
Your brain is trying to protect you from potential embarrassment in the future.
If you think about it, both of these, your ego and your anxiety, are actually the brain's way of protecting you.
But the problem is that your brain's defenses have become excessive and have actually turned into a prison. The only way out of this problem is to just not care.
I don't care doesn't mean you're a cold or apathetic person.
But here, you're consciously choosing to let go of and accept the things that could trigger your ego and anxiety.
And learn more about setting mental priorities.
You accept that you might say the wrong thing later.
You accept that it's normal for employees to make mistakes and be reprimanded by their superiors.
You accept that you aren't always perfect in the eyes of others.
Finally, you can come to terms with reality.
Aware of and accepting all these possibilities, that's the first level of the art of not giving a damn.
You can hone this I don't care attitude until it's razor sharp, so that nothing that happens to you will ever shake you or hurt your feelings.
Mentally stronger and calmer.
Well, to take the art of not giving a damn to the highest level.
You need to try this third approach, which is the art of negative thinking, or pessimism.
Most motivational speakers will tell you to think positively.
Visualize success. Imagine victory. And the universe will grant it to you.
But what if the best strategy for dealing with life is actually to do the opposite?
What if the key to true peace of mind doesn't lie in imagining the best case scenario?
Rather than listing all the bad things that might happen to you?
An ancient technique that sounds ominous, yet is deeply liberating. Premeditatio malorum.
This mental trick works by preparing your mind, by deliberately imagining the worst-case scenario.
It's as if you're building up mental resilience for when real problems arise.
You also turn that vague anxiety into something concrete and manageable.
It's also easy to put into practice. Every morning, take a moment to think about one thing that's making you anxious today. For example, if you want to meet a man you like and you're feeling nervous, then you ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario that could realistically happen?
Whether you're afraid of running out of things to talk about, afraid to take a stand, or afraid of making him feel uncomfortable.
After that, accept all the worst case scenarios and make a plan for what you'll do if they happen.
Just grab a piece of paper and write something down every morning. Give it a try tomorrow or after watching this video. I guarantee you'll feel the benefits right away.
Well, this fourth method isn't just about helping you stay calm. It can also help you make really smart decisions.
That is, understanding long-term and short-term thinking. The book Thinking, Fast and Slow divides the way our brain works into two main thinking systems.
1. The quick thinking or reactive type. This is an emotional autopilot mode, or reacting to something automatically.
This mode makes you react immediately without thinking twice. For example, people tend to judge others based on their appearance.
Second, there's slow thinking, or the analyst. This mode is conscious, logical, and requires effort.
You use this mode when you need to make a decision that requires careful consideration.
For example, when you want to build a long-term business.
The main purpose of understanding this is to help you become aware and take a moment to pause before acting.
Finally, you can think clearly in any situation.
For example, when your emotions are running high and you remember these two ways of thinking.
You can pause for a moment and take control of your mind to switch to long-term or short-term thinking.
This will give you peace of mind and help you make better decisions.
When you use the 4 brain hacks mentioned earlier, you're also indirectly putting the 5th one into practice: self-efficacy.
Simply put, self-efficacy is a person's belief in their ability to successfully complete tasks or overcome challenges. This belief didn't just appear out of nowhere. Rather, it was built on 4 things.
Namely, past successes, the experiences of others, support from others, and emotional state. People who hold that belief have usually succeeded in overcoming challenges in the past.
And will be more confident that they can do it in the future as well.
Because you can't just suddenly feel confident for no reason.
When you successfully complete a small task and then succeed at another one, keep succeeding again and again. Finally, you have a little confidence that you can do it and that you've already been through it.
It is this set of beliefs that builds your strong, unshakable self-confidence.
For example, when you're facing something that makes you anxious, try putting the 4 strategies we discussed earlier into practice and finally work.
In the future, you will feel calmer if you find something that can take your peace.
So, do you understand the dichotomy of control? It's the foundation for distinguishing between what's important and what's not worth worrying about.
Then, on top of that foundation, add the art of not giving a damn and the art of negative thinking I mentioned earlier.
So you'll be immune to outside attacks and prepared for future chaos.
Plus, you've already learned to take control of your brain by understanding slow and fast thinking. Peace of mind doesn't mean living without problems, because that's impossible.
In fact, that sense of calm comes when you're facing a problem, whether it's a small one or a big one.
But trust me, there's a much bigger and stronger mindset inside your head.
Now you just have to push yourself to practice all of that.
by facing the things that make you anxious.
I know it's really hard to push yourself, but trust me, hard work pays off.